Hello, hello. Coming in nice and smooth and easy tonight. No rap music. It is, I think it's Tuesday night. I think it's right. And that music is too loud in my ears. Yeah, Tuesday night. And we are still pounding away at a little PDF to Markdown extractor. I'm gonna try to finish polishing it up tonight. And then continue to run some tests on it. But right this very second, I'm finishing up a little change on this VidFlow project that I made. It helps me take a podcast, which reminds me I need to start recording. There we go. It helps me take a live stream and get it down to clips. I'm trying to automate as much as I can because time is an issue. Time is not my friend. All right, so that's all closed out. So I'm gonna clear this. And I think what I'm gonna do is still up. Just open it real quick. Yeah, we're up. We're up. Get it over here. Oh. So this is what our UI kind of looks like. It looks way better than it did yesterday, even though it's still kind of basic, I guess, but this is a tool, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. So actually this main page, I'm probably going to live with this one. But this page, we definitely need to get it right because this is where the user or me will be working from. So and I'll try to explain what you're looking at as we go. Let me do one more thing here. Stick with me. I've lost the window and I've got to find it. So this is going to close. Oh, I bet it's right here. That's it. Found ya. Found ya. Let's see, let's take this out. Take this one out. Just bear with me, man. I am a professional at this, right? I need to move that over there. There we go. We're still getting set up here, so here we go. There we go. So the first problem I have right here, and this was all working before. This is a new UI that kind of transitioning to. But these boxes, which we identify by using a local, actually two local models. One is YOLO, and then we're also using Gemma 4B. Which that one doesn't run unless we, tell it to run it. But anyway, we're taking PDFs and we're taking and turning things into objects, basically. So that's what YOLO does, is it identifies objects, marks them, and then tries to determine, what it is in this PDF. Like, is this a subheading? Section heading, and actually it did identify it as a section heading. So basically we're taking a PDF and breaking it down into individual objects and then extracting the text out of that, or the table or image, whatever it is. And this screen that we're on here now is the human review, because as we review these to make sure that the model identified each section right, we're also saving that data, and we're going to fine-tune these two local models to hopefully get better, so you don't have to have the human in the loop as much. So we're just trying to make a really good, accurate PDF to Markdown extractor. And this is actually a real tool that I'm going to use. I have bigger plans, so I needed something to extract a lot of markdowns fast. So this is kind of my answer to try to do that. So anyway, so these boxes should have labels, and the labels are not rendering and do not know why. So that's the first thing we're going to work on. And I gotta get Mr. Opus set up here real quick. I'll give him the directory. Terrible name, but that's what we're calling it now. And then we're going to give them the Mandrill project. Which is same. We'll say context. Get recent, which will point Opus to my database called Mandrill, or it's a project management tool called Mandrill. and it's where every project I work on is stored here. Well, it's not stored here. This is just the UI, but these are all the projects that were actually on a PDFer, and that's what I'm telling Opus to do, is to go to this project and get the last 5 context. So that's what it'll do, and that'll usually get it up to speed on what's going on. So, and it allows me to keep the context clean. I don't usually say a whole lot other than point them there so they can gather, the context that they need. And then whatever we are going to work on or build, or I try not to say a whole lot unless we're really iterating on something. Although I do hype it up some. I think that's important. Some people say you're crazy, Brian, but I'm telling you, give it a little hype, it likes that. All right, what am I saying here? I am saying I had it right the first time, didn't I? All right, so that's what we're gonna work on. So that's my statement to it on that. And the last thing I'm gonna say to it here is I'm gonna try to set it up, because this is Opus 4.7, and I said it last night, and I think I said it the night before. This model is really different. It's really smart. And it's a whole lot different than the other ones, I think, especially how it works. And I think that's why some people are getting frustrated with it. But man, it does some things that, like, it's really good. It's really good. But I think it's very cautious, and I think that frustrates people. So it takes a while before it'll start working. Like, I'm gonna try to stop it this time, and we'll see if it works. But what it'll do is, like, if I just left it at telling it I want to fix this, where we are missing the labels, and just left it at that, it'd probably take us 20 minutes to get there, to where it's actually start going, because it'll go check some stuff and then say, yeah, it's ready to go, but then it'll be, wait, let me verify something, then it'll come back and ask again. So it's very cautious. But once you get it going, and I think I'll be able to show you, once you get it going, you can see some stuff. All right, what do I want to say here? right, I'm gonna say you are my partner tonight. We do this every night. No, Brian. Careful what you say. Always careful what you say. Can't spell, man. Can't spell.
You know I'm gonna need a little cash flow in my pocket, you know. Money talk, everything else walk. Now love give me a thrill, but money pay the bills. If you ain't got no cash, you better watch what you ask. Cause money talk.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm saying. Give me just a second here. Trying to get it, whatever, set up.
From here to New York.
Stay through it. Lesson 01.
Most women say, if you wanna play, you got to pay.
Be
Everything
bold and confident.
So you better think twice. The world is crazy about the dollar bill. If you ain't got no money.
So what I'm doing here is, like I said, I pointed it to the directory, the working directory. I pointed it to Mandrill and to that particular project. All right, yeah, I gotta do something here. I gotta change this music because the singing I can't do, man. I can't do it. All right, and then I set it up with the actual, what I actually want to work on, the problem, which is in the review stage. The PDF boxes, they should have labels, basically, is what I'm telling it. And then what I'm doing here is something I haven't had to do in a long time, but I think this particular model needs this, and I'm just telling it that it doesn't have to come back here and check all the time before we start something, that we have a plan, and we have our workflow, which it reads in Claude MD, so it knows when we're debugging something, we go investigate. I told it to remember lesson 001, which is, well, I'll explain it later, but it's basically, it traces. If we get stuck on things, it remembers that, we stop guessing and we start tracing actual, air messages, set up air messages or air catches. So it tries to just gets it out of a loop that it's kind of stuck in, gets it thinking in a different way. And then I'm just telling it to be bold and confident, just to see. To see if it stops this hesitation. But I think it will. But we'll find out here real quick. If anybody's watching, say something in the chat. Tell me where you're watching from or a project you're working on. What are your thoughts on Opus 4.7? All right, so far so good. It's off investigating. Found the mock, as I mentioned that it's making a fix. Let's see what it said right after. Did it say anything? I'll start by getting oriented. Nothing. Switching to in Mandrill, the PDFer project. And it's checking recent context, and it uses that to get up to date. It didn't switch projects I see there. I'm sure it did. All right, so I mean it's going to be hard for me to explain. I could show it in a video, I know, because this was much better. It didn't come back and try to verify, and that's one of the things it was doing is like, wait, let me verify something first. It went straight to it and did it. So if this holds true, I think that's all it takes. I think it wants to follow instructions, like it's been trained to follow instructions. And if you just set it up, and it's going to go along with what you say. So I think that's where you see that hesitation. I think people are just they're used, because you used to have to do that, I remember doing that with, I forget what even model was it, 3.5, like a year ago. It was like a year ago. Or at least that was all the rage back then. It was only a year ago, man. It's insane. All right, so let's go check it out. Got it here. There we go. That's it. Now we got the labels. That's what we need. All right, now we got color separation problems. Maybe I might be able to just go with this because that's all text. Yeah, no, that's pretty clean. Pretty clean. let's do this. Let's see if we got it wired up. I don't even see a button. Don't want to make sure I'm not missing it. We should have a button that allows me to run Gemma over this PDF. And it's basically going to do the same thing that the YOLO model did, which is what we're looking at, the results of that. That's odd. That's odd. Hold on here. Yeah. That's good. That's good. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. It does allow me to see behind it though, so I think I'm gonna live with that right now. I think if I could just put click away and it comes back, that would make me happy. Because it kind of bothers me that I can't make it come back. And that's my weirdness. I was thinking I was gonna have to change. I was gonna change these colors based on, you know, if it's a section, heading, paragraph. But that's ludicrous. This is all clean. I can live with that. What's this one look like? Same thing. We missed that. So see if I ran Gemma, then Gemma should pick this up. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I could just run Gemma and probably get every bit as good as better than this, probably. But that's not. I have a long-term goal. If I can get this really small YOLO model trained, then that means you can run it on just about, you know, anybody's desktop. So it's kind of the ultimate goal. So I'm really using Gemma as you know, hey, let's check accuracy. All right, so that looks all right. I can live with that. This is kind of a bad. I'm actually the table. I thought the tables were going to be a problem, and they've not been a problem at all. But I do need to get the Gemma button here one more time. Make sure I'm not missing. All right, yeah. Let's Set. Let's get them. We're gonna get a context saved here. I'm gonna make sure switch project. So yeah, I'm just this is why Mandrill has been so invaluable for me. It's why I can I can build and maintain a project, because everything on this project is saved, and then you can tell a model to search over a project. Like, you could search over all of these contexts, and they're so good at this, at, you know, finding patterns. That's all they are. They're pattern matchers. That's how they predict a token. So you give them a database and you give them some history, and, you know, patterns emerge. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you want to build projects, you need to, you know, make sure if you don't use a database, if you don't go to all, it's not even that much trouble. They're so good at setting this up. But if you just want to use markdowns, or, you know, regular files, but whatever it is, just save everything you do. Use that wiki, which I am going to implement as part of this too. All right, so we should see that. Yeah, there's the context it just saved. So we got a problem statement, we got a cause, and then we got a fix. It's all the stuff you need to find patterns. All right, so now we are going to So this mock has been very handy, as you can see already. Well, I don't know if you can see, but when I first started this session, I told it the original problem, which was we were missing the labels for each box. And in the mock, I told it to go look at the mock, because before we actually did this, we worked up a mock and iterated on this mock to get, you know, kind of the view that I wanted. So the point here is, because it has good, clean context, it has something it can go look at. I'm waving my hands and you can't see me, but it has something it can go look at. You know, it has like several points to go look at now, right? So it knows the code, and then it's got a mock to say, okay, this is what it should look like. So it's kind of, you know, easy fixes, hopefully. And actually, we just saw it come up right there. There it is, run Gemma. So quick, easy, clean context. giving it, as much as you can to point it in the right direction. And Opus is not hesitating. It's just going and doing it because we set it up at the beginning. Yes. Save contacts. You are doing a great job. Stay right here. So now I'm just reinforcing, saying this is where we want to work right here. And I think other people are having problems probably running this as as an agent, maybe, I don't do OpenClaw. I have my own that I built, and it had nothing to do with OpenClaw, by the way. But anyway, as a chat agent, and then an all-in-one agent, right? It's your chat agent, it's your work agent. I could see you probably have to prompt it something like this. You have to kind of say, be confident, be bold. You know what you're doing. Anyway, that's my theory. All right, what's the next thing we need to fix? Not there, not there, not there. Right here. All right, let's just run Gemma and see if that works. Anybody watching live? Tell me where you're watching from. Just say hi. Ask a question. Had a good chat last night with a viewer. It was Chunk Data, I think. Was it Chunk Data? I think that's what it was. And it was Chunk something. Yeah. Feel free to ask anything. We can talk about... Oh, did you see where... Did I see where SpaceX is going to buy Cursor? That's true. I have never used Cursor, but I know what Cursor is, so I think that could be a big deal. And I don't know which way. Jim is still running. I'm gonna find out and see if this changes state here. It probably is going to be slower though because I'm streaming. Gemma does require, GPU, and I'm running it on a GPU. So I'm probably running at about 99% right now. Be shocked if I'm not dropping frames. says, well, YouTube says I'm good, but I don't know if that's right or not. All right, I'm being patient, but I think there we go. Let's do something here. That looks clean. All right, so now over here where it says AI read, when I click like an image, it'll say Mannington. The image displays the logo for Mannington in white text against a black background. So this model's really good. Well, let me back up. It's really good at vision. Let me say that. It's really good at vision. I did try it with like a multi-step tool calls. Not so good at that. Not so good at that. But it is a 4B model. So, but like the vision that's more kind of black and white, right? Is that more black and white? Get it? Yeah, image. That's a bad joke. Anyway, so let's see. We had that one. Let's see. We got everything on this page. Everything. It was one of these pages. And we missed this right here. All right, so we missed that. And then one thing I'm going to add is we're going to add a little mini view right down here of the original. And you're going to be able to click on that and you're going to get a diff view side by side, because these labels, they're necessary for going through this quickly. But if you had a good diff view, I think it would make it even faster. So don't forget that, Brian. Don't forget. Diff view. It looks like we got everything on that page. Still missed that. Yeah, we missed it there. We missed it there. Did not miss it there. That's odd. That one is very odd. But that right there is very trainable or fine-tunable. So here, YOLO. YOLO identified this as text paragraph, whereas Gemma identified it as a table correctly. And then the extraction is very, very good at. Very, very good. So, cannot scroll that. That's an issue. Alright, so we're gonna remember that one. Still missed this. Still only picked up this. And I'm not sure Gemma. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious about something. Because that's... Alright, here's what I'm thinking. This may be out there. But I'm telling you, I know these things. I'm telling you, I know them. Alright, let me click off that. Let me click up here. Alright, so this got identified as a text paragraph correctly, but it only boxed this. Now, this is one of two things, and I just thought of the second thing, which it probably is the second thing. Because this is tight right here, maybe it's a little bit tighter, but that is not the case here. I don't know. I'm just saying it could be because you have to pad these boxes, right? Like you have to pad them because you may have 3 spaces and you got something else totally different, right? So you have to, that's why you have to be able to turn everything into an object and extract that way. So it could be that we have padding that is conflicting here maybe, and that's why it's constraining. But what reason I'm saying this is odd is because why did the YOLO model, which is a much smaller model, but it's just been trained to do this? I can see, okay, it maybe got confused and only picked up this, but then Gemma is saying it only sees the same thing. So my theory is either A, like I just said, it's something to do with our padding and our boxes, and it's conflicting, and you know it can't pick up past this point, or for whatever reason. Or we're passing a predefined, or the YOLO passed PDF, and it can see YOLO's extractions, and it's just saying okay, yeah, and not really checking it. I don't know. It's probably the first thing I said, though. There's usually a more logical reason, right? But it's odd. It's odd that they're both, because Gemma is much, I'm telling you, Gemma could probably do this whole thing. But we're going to have a lot more complicated PDFs. And we're going to have a whole lot of them later. So. But right now we're worried about the UI. Is it doing what we want it to do? Right now we got to get this diff in. I think that's going to be important. Alright, I already told him that. All right. So I've given the reason, and now we're gonna tell them exactly what I want. So let's get my bearings right. Okay. How can we lay that out? How can we lay that out? Close. Ah. All right. I had to type a little more than I wanted to there, but trying to give it some direction on how I want it laid out. Which, come on, Brian. What I told it to do was an original view right here, and it fits in the width of this pane. Right, this is a container. What? All right, now we're planning, which I'm good with. This is a big change. This is a feature. If you things I'd call out Okay, what would you call out, Claude? No, that's what I want. Yes, that is what I meant. Right, clean. Yes. Keeping the right rail inspector AI read thumbnail diffuse effectively left annotated. Yes, left. Right, that's that one. I'd lean towards keeping the inspector visible. So, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, that is... I must have not done a good job. I must have not been clear. Or it's reverting to its being very cautious. It's very, very cautious. All right. That's it. See, I'm always learning, especially with UI stuff. I'm way better on this back end. UI, I'm very, very weak. So I'm always learning. Always learning. Because if I would have known that terminology, I would have saved probably a turn there. Anybody watching live, say hi. Tell me a project you're working on. Opus is off and working. And we're getting close to my context limit, I think. Yeah, no, we're all right. It's a million. I won't go over, not going over 200,000. Hey, Chunk, what's up, man? No, man, no real. Let's see. No, I'm trying to think if there's any real tutorials that. No. It's pretty much me just doing this every night, right? Just I had a direction I wanted to go, and I knew I wanted to build. So just doing it every night and constantly reading. I mean, I was constantly reading, and I was, watching clips of this and clips of that. And I broke things down to memory. Memory has always been my, it's kind of been an obsession here. So I started looking at RAG and, try to get familiar with databases. Got comfortable building building databases with AI. And I built a lot of crazy, dumb projects, right? Just to do, all the stuff everybody does. But anyway. Yeah, that's just obsession, man, too. Now, this is Claude Code in which is a CLI. But you can do Claude Code in desktop now. I just don't. I'm on a Linux. This is Linux too. So they don't have a Claude desktop app for Linux. And I really wish they did. But they don't. But I kind of forced myself into the CLI thing because I wanted to, I really want to. I mean, when I say I've had a session to learn, I've been learning everything I can learn, and AI can. Just turn my mic down. Hold on a second. And AI is really good at teaching you. So I use it for that too. But you got to check them because they will bullshit you. But most of the time on, technical stuff, when you're asking specific questions, they don't usually hallucinate too much, especially if you keep threads reasonable and not large. Which distribution? I am on Omarchi, which is Wayland, Hyperland. Yes, I'm on the $200 plan, but I'm gonna tell you, man, I was on the $20 plan for all right, so I started last February. And I had $20 plan, from then till, I think it was August. And back then, I don't know if it's I don't think it's the same now, but back then you got a lot more, I think, out of $20 than you do now. But I learned a lot on that $20 plan. And that's where I would build, you know, I hand type stuff. I try to understand the code, and I can tell you that, you know, I can read code pretty well. I know what's going on. I may not know state management stuff, still an issue. You know, that could get really confusing quick. But I just try to get the basics and I learned the systems. I learned the systems, the libraries, the, you know, functions, you know, how the code's broken down. And then, but more than that, you got to learn how your software systems, your front end, your back end. But they're so good now, man. They are so good now that they're going to tell you what the best stack is to use. All right, let's see. What do we got? What you'll see. All right, let's go check it out. Yeah. Let's get a little applause, a little golf applause. All right, now a big test. Yep, that's exactly what we wanted. See, like right here, I can, you know, quickly see what's behind here. Yep. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Now, exit. I said escape. Yep. I'm telling you, this model is really, really good. You just got to give it direction. Just got to give it direction. All right, what else do I need to fix? I think we're getting close, man. I think we're getting close. Calling this one done. At least on the review page. I can't think of anything else I need. All right, we're gonna move on. So now next stage, I need to. Oh, I'd have to prove all of these. All right, we can do it. We can do it. Where is my auto? We're missing that. Just making sure I'm not missing something. That's going to take me back to the dashboard. I don't want to go there. I should have an auto approve component, and I do not. So that's what we got to fix here. hyping it, man. I'm hyping it up. What else we got to do here? Wanted to save context. Then we're going to it's missing. What'd you say, Chunk? Yeah, I'm just trying to prove out that local businesses, because I don't know what you do for a living, man, but you know, like I'm a flooring rep, right? Like, so I'm in Virginia. And most people don't have a clue about AI. They don't have a clue what it can do. They don't have a clue what it could do for their business. They don't have a clue how they could automate, you know, the simplest things for them. And I'm talking about these businesses that are, you know, family owned, or the landscaping guy, you know, that doesn't want to take care of the follow-up emails, you know, or if he's sending out follow-up emails, you know, he could be maybe prospecting more clients by gathering, you know, geographically, is he in an area better more often, you know. It's just stuff like that, man. There's analytics, and you could do it simply, I think, and it, you know, it would have to go up by scale, but I think you could use a wiki for a lot of that, especially if you layered in a really small database, which is another idea I'm working on. If you could layer in another real light database to handle relationships between these things, and make it basically a database to make it easier for the AI to search, giving it some tools to search with, right? Because a wiki is just text, and it's all going to go in context, and you got to be careful about that. So you need to be able to search across it. So anyway, yeah, but I think you could set it up for, you know, a small business, and I think it could be extremely helpful. And it could just grow, right? Like you can do a lot with a small model. If it's, you know, reading an email, like going and retrieving an email and summarizing an email, it doesn't have to reason really. Like it's trained to do that. Now, if you're asking it to look at 5 or 6 emails and then synthesize it, then you have to have a bigger model. But like, there's a lot of tasks that can be done. So that's the idea. All right, what are we doing here, Claude? No, it's not new. It's not new. This is not new. Not new at all. Hold on a second, Claude. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can have Mandrill save us. Mandrel Savis. Auto. What do we get for auto? Get more recent. There you go. What's this one? What is this one? What is this one? Come on, be what I need. That's not the auto I wanted. Let me try auto approve. I know that was the term, I think. Oh, no. Think, Brian, what did we call it? What did we call it? Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I'd be lying to you if I sit here and said I know 100%. But I do think I mean, I just look at my results. And I just think it makes a difference. I mean, honestly, yeah, I do. Honestly, on Opus, this model, I do think it makes a difference. And the reason is because, I mean, you can look at Anthropic. They have a whole department, psychology department. So and I'm not saying this thing's, I know what this thing is. Like, I totally understand what it is. But what I'm saying is they are training these things to, behave a certain way. I mean, Anthropic models historically have this, personality to them. So I think if you train a model that way to behave a certain way, then it's going to react because it's trained on nothing but human data. That's all it knows. But I think it's not been as hesitant tonight, in my opinion, as it was the last 3 nights. And even earlier today, before I came online, I was working on another project, and it was relentlessly cautious. And I'm like, I know why people would get frustrated, but that's why this time I tried this. So yeah, honestly, I think it does work, man. I just don't have proof. So you know what they say about that, right? What am I searching here, man? I gotta find this, and I know it's in here. Let me try this. Auto 90. No, it's not gonna let me multi. Let me go back to the plans. Gaps, not problem, system. Where did we start here? they're implementing. Might be in this one. Nope. Could it be here? I swear I'm not making this up, man. I swear I'm not. Nope. Let me go. Complete deliverable. What do we got here? There it is. Auto confirm. There it is. All right, so beauty of this thing, the beauty of Mandrill. So this is an ID. This is the ID for this context. So I'm going to copy it because it couldn't find it because I called it auto approve. And what was it? I've already forgotten what it was. Anyway, it was a different name. So let me copy that in. I gotta go find it again. It's right here. Auto confirm. All right, so yeah, that's a perfect example of why Mandrill I can stay on track because we store everything in there. I knew this was a feature we had. It's saying it couldn't find it, and it was ready to go build something. I'm laughing, man. When you said I talked to mine like a cold robot. I don't know why that makes me laugh, man. Do you cuss it? You never know, dude. Thing might, one day. I don't know how old you are, especially if you're young. If I was young, I think I'd be nice. You might remember that cold robot. Oh yeah, I get it, man. I get it. And listen, I don't know if you were in here when I said it, but I haven't done that personality thing. Like really said you're this and do this. I really do think it matters though on this model. And it's just because of training, right? It's just because of that RHLF training. When it's being rewarded for a good answer or a good behavior or answering a certain way. Let's see. All we got it, but now our spacing is jocked. All right, how do I want this to function? The easiest fix is just to put a scroll bar over there, spread them all out, and put a scroll bar. But leave this and scroll this. But I don't know if that's what I want to do. Hey, what's up? Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. Give me just 1 second here. I want to figure out how I'm going to get, I want to solve this real quick. I'll just make it scroll, man. It's boring, but we'll do it. Screenshot, 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 screenshot. It's worth more than 1,000 words in this situation. Let me just do it all.
Must be magic, magic, magic. You make me feel like magic, magic, magic.
Oh yeah, man. I understood. I understood. And welcome, Chunk's friend, Chunk Tech. You say hi, man. All right, kids running out of container is not the right word. Running out. I'm not fixing that mistype. And I think you'll understand from that. Watching from your phone. All right, cool. All right, here we go. What am I showing you? Mandrill and Squire. Okay, so this is Mandrill, and this is the first tool I built. I don't build any project with any model without it going through here. It's a database. It's a Postgres vector database, so the text gets turned into vectors and stored in chunks, so you can search across it faster and you can get relationships and things like that. It's just a really quick way to search over it. There are limitations later, but that's like if it gets gigantic, right? But it's really, really good. Models are really good using it. But yeah, so we start a project, and this is the one I'm working on currently. Is PDFer, and you can select your project up here, and we're in the context of this project, so everything that we do is stored here. And if I go all the way to the beginning, this would be the start of this project. So they just, you can tell this was us iterating and setting up this. I'm not going to go into how I built this, but this is the very beginning. So the point is, when I start a project, everything from that point runs through here. We can do task. So as we're working, if it's a big feature or if it's a big project, I'm starting to laying out a project, I really use this task feature because you can work over multiple days and stop and know where you left off, and you can start and stop sessions because I watch my context. I don't let it get over 200K. I try not to. I don't care how much they say they can do. 1 million, there's no way. You're not going to convince me of that. But yeah, I've got task, and then like any major decisions, like we moved Gemma in this workflow from one stage up to a pre-stage before that. So we save that decision in here to see, later we can reference it and see if, if that decision was a good decision or why we did something. So I needed a way to be able to build, and not just build, but be able to maintain the project, right? So this is the way I do it. There's some other things in here, but that's the main part of that. And then hold on one second. I gotta get a drink. This is Squire, and it's the main agent is Sonnet 4.6, and typical chat app, but it's only chatting with my data, right? Like, so again, this has a database, and everything that I chat with this model with gets extracted. Let's see if I got anything. Now this is all work stuff. So like today, my day job, this thing can track objectives for me. Like, if I just want to spin up a work objective, say I've got to sell so much flooring this month or whatever the case is, or I've got to pull drops from this many dealers this month. I can just tell Squire to track that for me, and it'll do it. But anyway, as I chat with it, we extract things from that chat, entities and dates, reminders, notes. And these are all the extractions that we have from the chats. And I go here. All of those extractions get put in a database, but before they get put in a database, they get synthesized by Sonnet 4.6, but it just comes in as a fresh instance. And it's told to look at all these extractions and synthesize it and create this memory of, I'm oversimplifying this. There's a lot more to it. Because these different memories have different values to them, and they have different salience values. They have an emotional value to them, and then they have a decay value to them. So all of that gets synthesized and put in. Those values get put in by Sonnet, and then that gets stored as a living summary, and that's what this is. And then every time you chat with the model, basically all of this gets condensed and synthesized into this memory, and the idea is it knows you when it comes in, and it knows what's going on. So far, since it's been running since January, I've tuned a few things, but it's doing pretty good, man. Just to show you, you can see a visual of the database. So, and this is not everything because you can't render everything or it'd be extremely slow. But like all of these are dealers, like flooring dealers that I call on. So, these are notes and things that it extracts and ties them all together. All of these connections are relationships. Because you might have like things out here like this is rust. So I obviously was talking about rust with something. The TUI I built. That's right. So yeah, these are my memories, man. Did I focus in? Wow, there we go. So Ridge Control, this is another project, and Thucydides, that's a project that I've got going. This is like a research agent thing I have. But yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, man, I use it. I use it for work quite a bit, and that's my idea with this thing is, it's a personal assistant, man, but you can use it. You could use it for work, but one of the things I'm starting to work on with this is a lot of data, man, and one of the things that models are really good at is pattern matching, right? Like that's all they do. If you give them data, like if you're a sales rep like me, it might be able to pick up patterns on how, maybe I have a better route I can go, right? Because I spend more time at this dealer, and I'm getting this amount of sales from this dealer because I can feed this thing my sales, right? Like it can read everything. So there's just a lot of possibilities. And listen, these big labs are gonna be all over this, right? But my whole thing here is I'm running this on my personal VPS, right? Like now I'm using Sonnet, and yes, they can see my data that way, but I'm not sending everything. They're limited still, and I could solve some of that if you really wanted to. You could do encryption, number one, and then number two, there's this thing, and I'm gonna not remember the term, but It's where you don't, basically where you're not sending exact names. You're replacing names and you're replacing places and all that. But in my opinion, I have control here, right? I have more control and I have options. Like if I don't want to be, I'm not stuck with just Sonnet. I could try a different model, right? Like I could plug another, I could use Grok right now if I wanted to. So I think there's a lot of use cases for it. What else? I mean, standard stuff. It can, you know, control my calendar, create lists and notes. I use this quite a bit. Oh yeah, my docs. This is anything that I put in here, doc-wise, it's a RAG system and it can search over it, right? So I can put work documents in here and like I can ask it, like this Adura Max installation guide, right? Like it knows this. I can ask it anything about this guide and it can reference it and answer questions for me. Show the handoff. Yeah, man. Yeah, I gotta get back over here and see what's going on. Let's check. Let's reload. All right, it just spaced it out better. That's much better. Yeah, that's much better. All right, I'll just have it. I'll just have it write a handoff right now because I think we're done on this page. Yeah, we'll do it. So that's all I do. I'm just telling it to, I'm not talking to it like a cold robot, man. I said, nice work. Make sure you're in project PDFer, which is telling it to make sure in Mandrill it's in that project. Save a handoff context, and I'm telling it tomorrow, you know, kind of what I want on my agenda. And I just said we're going to move to the next stage and test, and then you will see what it writes. If I go back over here, should see it pop up here in a second. Hey, did any of y'all, whoa, let me try that again. Did either one of you all try the new, what is it? OpenAI, I don't even know what model it is. What's it called? The image model. There it is, it popped up. So here's the handoff. Going to talk about what we did tonight in this session. So to give a recap of the session, and we did this earlier, Gemma button, region box labels, that's what we started with. Gemma button, the diff view, auto confirm, follow up and fix. Auto confirms button was clipping against the original thumb, so it talks about the fix it made. Talking about current state, just basic information. And then what's next should do, move to stage 4, like I said. Starting points, pointing to the test. From slice 3 handoff, what is this? Real extractor route, play PL. What? Yeah, I gotta look at this tomorrow. I don't know what. Gotta look at that. Anyway, this is interesting. Remember when you were asking me about talking to it that way? All right, look what it put in the handoff. User context for continuity. User is systematic. Watches while I work. Expects bold, confident decisions on technical details. Expects me to read lessons.md, which is what I told it at the beginning. When anything takes more than one fix, tonight's flow, mock, compare live, surgical fix, save context, move on. Preview driven iteration is load bearing. User invited me to stay in this zone. After diff view landed, pattern worked, confirm design before coding, implement cleanly, validate, build, save, context. So that's what I'm saying, man. When it's not so much about like, it's just how it reads it, right? Like it's how it takes it and it interprets it, because it's all going down to probable tokens. And it's just, I think, taking a different path, man. It just takes a different path. But for me, this is exactly what I told it. Like, this is exactly the way I want to work. Surgical fixes, that's in a Claude MD, right? That's how we work. We investigate first, no guessing, because if I give you one piece of advice, it would be, don't let them, if you're trying to build something, don't let them give you those first pass tokens, because that's just like the generic answer, man. You got to make them think, right? Like, you got to keep pushing them and making them think and asking them questions. And every time you ask a question, it takes a different path down that neural network, right? It just goes a different way, because it's different. You know, it was going to predict this way until you had a stopping point and you asked a question, and now you're making it, okay, well, I was going to go this way, but now we got to go this way, right? That's how I see it. And I can swear by this, that you just got to make them think, right? You got to make them be involved, because that's just making them take a different path. So, I'm going on a rant, man. I'm going on a rant. All right, it is 11:01, and I really appreciate you coming back. You're the first person that I've had come back 2 nights in a row, man. That's pretty cool. So, golf applause for you. Thank you, Chunk. And you brought a friend, man. You brought a friend, and I appreciate that. All right, y'all. Thank you, man. Till next time.